Over the past 10 years, the Supreme Court of Canada has made itself very clear. They've ruled that all working Canadians, including Albertans, have the right under the Constitution to join unions and bargain collectively. The Supreme Court has taken this position in part because they recognize that unions and the process of collective bargaining are good for society. Strong unions help their members, but they also help everyone else by providing a counterbalance to the power of the wealthy and the well-connected. When working people have more power, we're more likely to get policies that benefit the many, like Medicare and CPP, as opposed to policies that only benefit the few, like tax cuts for the rich. At the same time that our courts have been reevaluating their position on unions, economists have also become increasingly supportive of laws that make it easier for working people to join unions and bargain collectively. In fact, over the past 3 years, traditionally conservative organizations like the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the OECD have all concluded that jurisdictions that support and facilitate collective bargaining have stronger economies than those that don't. Why? The answer can be summed up in 3 words: consumer purchasing power. When workers have better protections and better bargaining power, they bring home bigger paychecks. That means they have more to spend, and more consumer spending means more economic growth. In the same vein, economists agree that slow growth and increasing inequality are 2 of the biggest problems facing our 21st century economy. Increasingly, they're coming to the conclusion that the redistributive effects associated with unionization and collective bargaining are big parts of the solution to both of these issues. But here's the problem. While the courts and an increasing number of economists are saying that unions and collective bargaining should be encouraged, our labor code here in Alberta does the opposite. It makes it harder for people to join unions, and it inhibits collective bargaining. In many ways, this is no big surprise, and it's certainly no accident. When the PCs introduced the code in 1988, it was part of a neo-conservative ideological revolution that was sweeping the world at the time. It was a revolution aimed at cutting taxes for the rich, reducing regulations on corporations, and breaking the power of unions. As it turns out, none of these things were good for ordinary working people. So now we're stuck with a labor code written by a bunch of ideological warriors whose ideas and policies have mostly been discredited. The question for Alberta's current government is this: what should we do with laws that are relics of the past? The answer is straightforward: replace them. However, revising the Alberta Labor Code for the 21st century will require more than just tweaks. The existing code was built on a foundation of outdated ideas. A new Alberta Labor Code should be based on a new foundation of ideas, specifically the recognition, embraced by the Supreme Court of Canada, that unions and collective bargaining are good for society, and the conclusion advanced by economic organizations like the IMF and the World Bank that legal frameworks that facilitate collective bargaining are good for the economy. In practice, this means we need a code that actually facilitates collective bargaining and supports workers who want to exercise their constitutionally protected right to join a union. Where the existing labor code was deliberately designed to make it harder for workers to join unions and to bargain collectively, the new code, in the name of a strong economy and a more equal society, should be deliberately designed to make it easier for workers to do those things. There's no doubt that this will be a departure from the past, but it's a departure worth making. Strong unions mean a strong middle class, and a strong middle class means a strong economy. Let's support the NDP in seizing this opportunity. Together we can make our economy stronger and our society healthier and fairer by giving working people more power to stand up for themselves. That's a vision worth getting excited about.